Whiskey 5, Alpha Tango Kilo.
Alpha Tango Kilo, Roger, Roger. And the name is?
The name is ART, Alpha Romeo Tango, and the QTH is Enterprise, Alabama. Just South Alabama, just above the Florida Panhandle. Roger?
Roger, Art. And what radio are you running, sir?
Right now I'm on the IC 7800.
Roger. Now, I just know there was a drastic difference in your EQ from the time you gave me the call sign to when you came back with your name. It didn't sound like almost the same person. I'm not really sure what that was, whether it was just condition. Probably was conditions. If you would be interested in, you could give me maybe about 10 seconds and describe your antenna system, and I can hear your audio.
Roger, Roger. Sure. Well, right now I'm on my end-fed. I usually use double bazooka for 40, but I'm on my end-fed right now. And the amp is an AL80B, and about 800, 900 watts. The microphone is an RE320, and I do use the W2IHY 8-band equalizer. I just got this radio, still tweaking just a little bit, but I just ran across you here because you were so loud on the band scope. Thought I'd listen in, and sure enough, it's a good thing. So maybe you could tell me how the audio sounds. Over.
Well, Art, your EQ sounds very nice. You're full banded from one end to the other, activity down to 25 cycles. The thing you've got to remember, though, when you're that broad and you have that much in the bottom end, you want to be sure that you always have an abundance in the top end to keep your syllabics copyable. Because if you were to Mother Nature loves to take a slice off the top end of the frequency response. When she starts phasing, she starts at the top, and that top end starts rolling out, and gosh, all of a sudden you're left nothing but the bottom end. So I usually try to overemphasize the top just a tad to be sure that there is content to balance with the bottom, even though I may be in a phase cancellation mode, courtesy of Mother Nature. So I would say that if you were to add maybe a couple of clicks more top-end EQ, probably around 3K, 2.5K, in that area, about +2 from where you are, that would ensure you having a more top-end available to balance with the bottom, even in a phase cancellation situation.
Okay, I'll try that. I just added a little more, and if you would indulge me one more time. I don't use compression, but I've tried, and I got okay comments, but may I turn the compression on, and you could let me know.
Yes, sir. All right. I'd still have that guy that finds it necessary to tune up on an active frequency. But what we do suggest is that you do operate your compressor, but only at a 3. It's a token amount. It's something you will never hear operating, but it's something that helps as far as, what we're looking for is a 3 dB dynamic range at the end of our generic setup. The beginning of our setup starts with the compressor engaged, but only at a 3. Roger?
Okay, let me engage it now, and you can tell me. I just put the compression on wide. And did it make a big difference in the audio? Over.
I tell you what, why don't you do this? Why don't you give me a 10 count, and at 5, why don't you, let's start with it off. Start with your compressor off and a 10 count, and at 5, can you engage the compressor as you count?
Okay, right.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
3.
Sounds like deliberate... well, never mind.
8, 9, 10.
Sorry, Art. Let's do it one more time for the Gipper. We had a little problem there. Try it one more time, please, sir.
Roger. 1. This is off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Roger, I like it on. I like it at a 3. The other part of our generic setup procedure is after you get that compressor engaged at a 3, move to your ALC with the mic gain in hand and adjust your ALC to read mid-scale to 2/3 by speaking rather quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, so you can get the meter up to see where it is to adjust it. But anyway, adjust your ALC for mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Okay, stand by. Let me get my meter on ALC. One moment. Okay, I'm on ALC, and let's see. I'm going to get a little hard to sing right now. Stand by. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
You want to try that again? Mid-scale to 2/3. I'm not sure if you're there. Are you there?
No, well, I got my gain all the way up. My meter's not deflecting like it should on the ALC on the radio. I'm not sure why. Stand by. Well, beside that, how does it sound with the compression on right now?
It looks like you're achieving a 3 dB dynamic range. You know, what we're trying to do is the average transmitter, unprocessed audio transmitter, is running a 10 dB dynamic range, which means the average percent of peak modulation is about 30%. We're talking average percent of peak modulation for the unprocessed audio transmitter. So what we want to do through just a slight amount of compression and then the ALC at the mid-scale to 2/3 position, we can achieve a 3 dB dynamic range, which means the average percent of peak modulation moves up to 80 to 85%. Roger?
Okay, I will work on that. I just wanted to get your personal opinion of how the audio is sounding.
Yes, sir. Now, when you first started, you were mid-scale. You were very good all the way across the band. You were had a large content down at the bottom, not excessive, but it was the kind of a thing where if you did lose the top through phase angle cancellation, you would be pretty bassy. So that's why the only reason I was suggesting a little more top-end EQ. Roger.
Okay, but how does it sound to you now, regardless of the condition? Just right now, how does it sound to you?
Sounds good to me. Totally understandable and a good curve. Roger?
Okay, now it's the compression off. The compression's off. How do I sound to you now as compared to just before?
All right. To me, it sounds, I'm looking at your audio on a VU meter that's tied to my receiver, and I can see your peak excursions now. You're not as full as you were when you were just running that compressor only at a 3. It's amazing what that will do as far as helping your signal. Just a token amount, a third. I guess that a 3 would be a third of the capability of the compressor. So it's not anything that will ever suck up between your words, and that's the most annoying thing I have ever heard is a compressor gone crazy. Somebody think that they can put it on a 10 and it's going to fatten them up more than a 4, or it's just erroneous, because a compressor, by and large, is slow attack and medium fast release time, and so because of that attack time, you're not going to improve things by getting a more drastic compression curve. So I found 3 usually works about best. You never hear it, but it does help a bunch. Roger?
Okay. Well, regardless of what the scope says, I have the compressor off now, and just wanted to still get your personal opinion by just your ears how it sounds.
Roger. Not as full, frankly, as I'm just listening to it. Close my eyes, not looking at the peaks or anything. It's just not as full sounding as with the compressor on, because that is restricting your bandpass, and therefore what we call fattening your audio signal up just a tad, and that usually results in more of a bottom end fattening process. Obviously a compressor is sucking up whatever's in the chain, but it usually cumes up. There's more bottom end in the chain than high frequencies. Roger?
Okay, now if you close your eyes again, and I have the compressor on this time, and you're saying this sounds more full as far as how you perceive it right now just from your hearing.
Yeah, but the thing is getting that ALC in there. What I'm looking for is a 3 dB dynamic range, and when I look at my VU meter, I set your voice for 0 level, your peaks for 0 level, and at 50 to mid-scale to 2/3. Usually, if the radio has a very good limiter, there will be no blow-by. In other words, each peak will come back to 0 level where I had set the first peak, and it just hangs there, But when you get to larger dynamic ranges, like on down to 5, 6, 7, you start having blow-bys from where you would set for a 0 level. Roger?
Okay, well, I'll work on that. But just in general, does this sound better than the compressor off?
It's really so token amount. Like I say, it's only a 3. Give me just out of curiosity, give me a dead key for about 3 seconds and let me hear something.
Okay.
Alrighty, I'm assuming you did that. Yeah, there was no. That 3 is just fine as far as no suck up. So I would just leave it at 3 and consider it, helping. And also important, I think, is the way you work that microphone and be very deliberate about the way you address the microphone consistently, because as you turn away or whatever. Sometimes we play a game about looking at the power output meter as you speak, and knowing that your voice can control the reading on your power output meter. And when you do a turn away or something, the meter falls off, and you become very aware of the fact that how much you control what your audio level is by watching that meter. Roger?
Well, thank you for the help. I much appreciate it. I'm sure there are others waiting to get your input. So 7-3, and God bless. Thank you. And do you get on here often?
We do every Friday from 3:30 till 5. We record and then post it up on YouTube. And if you would like to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, along with today's date, 3/12/21, that will take you to this recording. Roger?
Okay, very good. I'm going to put this on my calendar. I usually do .188 for the Hole in the Wall net, my friend Mal down in Florida, NC4L. So maybe I'll hear you on there some evening. 7-3s again, God bless, and thank you for the help.
Roger, did you say you're running an RE mic on there?
Roger, an RE320.
All right. And you've looked at that on your transmit spectrum analyzer?
I don't have that. Are you talking about on the 7800?
I'm not familiar with your radio. I was just thinking that a lot of new radios do have spectrum analyzers and for being able to look at their transmit audio.
Well, this isn't new, but it does have that feature. I haven't looked at it yet, but I will now that I have your recommendation. Roger?
Yes, sir. And I have a word that I use a lot for just quickly checking out something. The word is SACE. And what that does, it gives you mid-range to a top end. And you can look at your mid-range balance to top end just with that one word. Roger?
Okay, very good tip. Thank you again, my friend.
Yes, sir. 73 that way, sir. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday, and we'll compare notes and see what's going on, provided the creeks don't rise. And around here, boy, I tell you, it's been raining. I'm working on a project in the back with Noah. It if it keeps raining, we're gonna be having to use that item. Anyway, 73. So this is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.